Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Monday, December 10th, 2012. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here. First, we'll start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. You'll see that the futures are off the lows of the morning. However, they're still lower on the session by about 1 point, 1.25 points to around 14.50. Chopping around this level right here, but they are off the lows of the day. That usually tells us the U.S. dollar index is probably starting to fade. And let's take a look, and sure enough, you can see the dollar putting in a little bit of a high print around 2:30 in the morning. And ever since the dollar slips, or whenever it slips, the market will inflate and trade higher. That seems to be what's happening this morning. But once again, futures are just slightly negative, down a little bit. Down about $1 at the moment, and we'll see how it plays out. Mondays can be on the lighter volume side, but there's a lot going on. First, let's talk about Europe. First off, you do have the European Union today sliding a little bit. If you take a look here at the German DAX, down about 0.3%. The CAC 40 is down about 0.25%, and then you have Italy, which is down over 3%. It looks like Mario Monti is stepping down. People are now talking about Berlusconi coming back into power, so we'll see if that happens. And then you have Spain down about 1.5% this morning. So you're seeing problems in Spain, problems in Italy, and you wonder if they will stretch over and start affecting Germany and France. So that's the big question at the moment. But once again, it looks like Italy is leading the decline. Italy is much more important than Spain, in my opinion, and we'll see if that does spill over. But either way, you do have Spain down 1.5% this morning before the opening bell. So we'll see how the market inflates or deflates. Just watch that dollar. It will tell you a lot. Dollar goes down, the market will usually go up. If the dollar starts to move higher, the problems are really becoming real, and traders need to watch for that very, very closely. Okay, so we'll have to see how that all plays out going forward. But really, that is a concern this morning, and we'll see how that shakes out. A couple of other things to go over from last night. In the Asian markets, you had the Shanghai up again over 1%. So the Shanghai's been on an absolute tear. Again, keep an eye on Chinese ADRs. They could be relatively strong today if the U.S. markets are strong. If the U.S. markets flounder around and are not too strong, I wouldn't expect really anything out of the Chinese ADRs. All right, let's take a look at gold here this morning. Gold is catching a bid, up $12 to $1,717 an ounce. Let's take a look at the GLD. You'll see the GLD catching a nice morning bid, trading above the 166.32 level. So nice little pop there. Closed at 165.16 on Friday. So GLD is up over $1 this morning in the pre-market, and that looks to be holding up pretty well. Again, weaker dollar. Expect higher prices in gold, but that's really what it comes down to. You're going to have to watch that dollar very closely. The dollar will tell you a lot. I think it tells you everything you need to know about the markets, because everything still is trading inversely to the U.S. dollar index. So we'll keep that on watch. And as long as the dollar remains weak, markets will inflate. Gold is a sign of inflation, not deflation. All right, let's take a look at oil, which trades very similar to gold. Today, light sweet crude, which is what we use here in the United States, is up 73 cents a barrel to $86.64. So decent little pop there. That's almost, I guess that's about 0.8%. Let's take a look at the USO, which is a good proxy for oil here in the U.S., and you'll see right now it's trading at $31.76, closed at $31.53. So little uptick in oil, decent little move in light sweet crude. Again, it's the dollar. If the dollar gains strength, expect oil to go down. If the dollar loses strength, expect oil to go up, and that's the way it kind of works and plays out these days for most of the time. Couple of other things to go over before we talk about some stocks out here. I think that traders should just realize it is a Monday, a little bit on the lighter volume side. So always remember, Monday's a little bit on the lighter volume side. Light volume's always easier to keep the markets buoyant. So it seems. So you want to keep that just in the back of your mind. Say, hey, today's a Monday. It's a little bit on the lighter volume side. All right, let's take a look at some stocks out here. First one I'm going to start with is McDonald's. It looks like they upped their same-store sales. I wouldn't touch it. I would not touch McDonald's here. It's overbought. A lot of resistance at 91.50. I'm not saying it's going to be the greatest short at the moment, but I don't think there's any real reason to get in front of McDonald's here, even though it's popping to the upside before the opening bell. I think McDonald's is at a very, very good resistance level here around $90 to $91. I really see the upside as being limited. So I would be very, very careful here with McDonald's. I'm not saying on the news it can't go to $94. I mean, that would be max upside that I could see. I don't even see that happening. I don't even think this gets above 91.50. But nonetheless, just keep it in the back of your mind that McDonald's is a weak gap up, and this is probably a fade candidate around the 91.50 level. Let's take a look at this stock here. IN is the ticker symbol. The name of it is Intermec. They're being bought out by Honeywell. So this is a takeover. This should just trade sideways. If you own it, congratulations. If you don't, there's nothing you could do with it here. Okay, don't short it. Don't buy it. The stock is being taken over by Honeywell. I believe at a nice little premium there. So, again, there's not much you could do with that one. Let's take a look at Honeywell shares this morning, which are the acquirer. You'll see the stock is trading down a little bit to 61.50. Not a big deal, but they did make that acquisition. Another one, I believe, Ingersoll Rand this morning is in the news. Ticker symbol is IR. I think that they are spinning off a unit, so this is catching a bid. This is another one I wouldn't touch. I think it's overbought at these levels. I don't have a great short level for it, but I don't know if you want to own this thing at this stage of the game. They did spin off a security unit. Looks to be the news. A ton of resistance around, I'm going to say probably, let me just see here. Probably around the 50, 51 level. It's a ton of resistance. So, again, they're going to take in some money by spinning off a unit, but I think it's already baked into the stock already. The upside should be limited here. I don't see really much more than 51 at the moment. I'm not saying it's a great short today because the news is positive and the stock will probably hold up, but I don't really think it sees much more upside from here. Another one that is doing well today is this NXY. This is Nexon. I believe the CNOOC deal got approved in Canada. There's nothing to do with this. Leave it alone. You don't want to get in front of it one way or the other. Okay, it's a takeover or a merger. So whatever it is, it was approved by the Canadian authorities. Leave it alone. You don't want to own it now. If you own it, congratulations. Just take your money off the table or you ride it out. But again, that's a deal with CNOOC, I believe a merger. So you got to leave it there. Outside of that, I'm not really seeing anything that is ultimately surprising. Apple, as we know, is always volatile in the morning. That one is trading lower by $6.50. But, I mean, there's not a lot you could do with this here. This thing will move around like a freight train before the opening bell. And really, I'm not seeing any real positive signs for Apple at this stage of the game. Again, gold is strong today. Gold miners are strong today to start the day. That will normally happen with a weaker dollar, so keep that on watch. But, again, if the dollar strengthened, I think these markets could be vulnerable again. But the way to keep the markets up, if you ask me, is to keep the dollar down, unfortunately. So that's really what it comes down to. Just created inflation, and that's the bottom line. I think I've covered everything that I see this morning. Unfortunately, we're not seeing any real tradable gaps. So we'll just sit tight, see what the market gives us once the opening bell rings. With that said, everybody, have a great trading day, great morning, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow.